And welcome on in to another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry, that's Bryant, and we are ready to break down some Sunday baseball. No hockey today, no basketball today. It is baseball day. So I have all the games put down here in different sets. So we'll go over them. I have a lot of picks in the earlier games, not so much in the late games. But I'll definitely give out my leans there. And we'll jump right into the first set of games here. The first four early games, and I will break them down here. I'll bring up stats here. Arizona's in Philly. Um, Kyle Nelson on the mound for Arizona. Not really much stats on him, but he goes 1 inning, 0.2 innings. Like he seems to be a reliever. So it looks like a bullpen day for the Diamondbacks. And that spells good news for the Phillies. Ranger Suarez on the year. He's kind of taken a step back this year. In his last game at Milwaukee, 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. Against San Francisco, 4.1 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. I got smashed by Atlanta the game before, but they're very good against lefties. The Phillies are just playing great ball right now. I have to take them here. I have them in my parlays, which I'll bring up here shortly and put them in the scroller. But I like Philly to win this game. And I also like Harper to get a hit, as well as Castellanos. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I really like him to get a hit today, just looking at stats, last seven. Basically, what I look at for players, if they're facing a lefty, I look at their stats versus lefty, and I look at their stats the last 7 games, and I look at their stats home and a road, depending on where they're playing. And that's how I come up with my player hits for different things. So Castellanos looks like a good play, and obviously Bryce Harper is always a good play for Philly. Chicago Cubs, Yankees. Bryant, you were totally right on with your Yankees yesterday. Me taking a stab at fading them, and every time I try to fade the Yankees, it doesn't work. So keep that in mind for next time I want to fade the Yankees, which will be against Toronto when they probably. I don't see any time before then, but it's possible. But the next time I expect to fade them will be in a game against Toronto. But definitely not fading them in this spot. I think they have the pitching advantage. Thompson really came back down to earth in his last game. Jameson Teon has pitched great all year. So I am on the Yankees -1.5, and I have the Yankees in different parlays. I'll just bring them up now. I'll bring them up here. So I really like the Yankees today, basically in all my parlays to win. And then I'm on the Yankees run line as well. The third game, Milwaukee, Washington. I'm taking a stab at the dog with the Washington Nationals. This Milwaukee team is just, if you can't win with Lauer on the mound against Corbin, I think that says a lot about the current state of the team. They are in complete free fall. There's a lot of teams right now that are in extended losing streaks and extended winning streaks. And this is a great spot for the Cardinals, which we'll talk about after, because every team in their division is just losing multiple games. So this is a great spot for the St. Louis Cardinals if they go for it. But we'll get to that game here in a bit. I'm taking the Washington Nationals at plus 105 to get the win here. Basically a fade of this Milwaukee team. Pittsburgh, Atlanta. As you can see on my parlays below, I really like Atlanta in this spot as well tonight. I'm on them on the run line -1.5. And I also have Atlanta money line and parlays. And my same game parlay, Atlanta to win, Acuna, Swanson, and Riley all to get hits. I really like those 3 players, the top 3 in the lineup, but they are all good against lefties and at home. So I like them. And that's my breakdown for the first 4 games. Bryant, the first 4 games. Do you like these ones?
Yeah, I'm mixed on this Arizona Philly matchup. I want to hop in on it. What's going on, Eddie? Um, don't know how I feel about Suarez. He's lost like his last like three. The not the Rangers, but his name is Ranger. But the Phillies have lost like his last 3 or so starts. He's not necessarily pitched horrible, but yeah, I'm not really too sure. Again, if I'm going to make a play on the Phillies, it's always going to either be a team total bet or it's going to be on the F5. Um, so I'm going to lean to this Phillies F5 run line and -0.5. It's -135. That's value right there compared to the -210 that you're going to get for the F5 money line straight up. Don't like that at all. And the Diamondbacks are due for uh, a typical Diamondbacks moment where they're up like 6-0 after the fifth inning in the game that they probably shouldn't be winning. But I'm gonna probably stay away from that in largely in terms of like betting purposes and putting my money down. But Cubs Yanks, as you said, they took care of business. Hit 6 home runs, 6 solo shots. I feel bad. I want to send a sincere apology out to all the over bettors last night because there's no reason why a team hits 6 home runs and you don't catch the over 8.5. That's just unheard of luck. Just very bad luck right there. But they took care of business. Monty looked excellent. I agree. Like I said, I'm not going to put money down on it, but I do like the F5 there if I'm going to make a play in that game, especially with the Diamondbacks bullpen. It's comparable in terms of, the Phillies bullpen as a collective in terms of how bad they are. And if you're going to get that for 9 innings, you got to take the team with the better offense. And that's clearly the Phillies right now. So, um, but as far as this Yanks Cubs game go, Keegan Thompson screwed me big time this week with that stinker in Baltimore. Um, I got duped by the books. I would not get duped tonight. I can tell you that. And it's a lot easier when the team that you're fading him with is your favorite team anyway. So Tyon's legitimately a good pitcher this year, and the performances match up, and the teams that he's pitched against, also um, check out as well. And the Yankees offense is certified. We're going to be down Trevino. He's out with a little back tightness. He might pinch hit. Doesn't look like it's going to be something serious long term, but he's not going to play today. So Higgy's a little bit of a lesser offensive talent in the lineup, but ultimately I like the Yankees to win on the run line. I don't trust Thompson, and I think what the Baltimore game showed us is that he's probably due for a lot more regression going forward. And if that's the case, the last team, one of the very few teams in MLB that you want to see is the New York Yankees in a nice, sunny, brisk summer afternoon in the Bronx. So good luck, Keegan Thompson. It could get dicey out there for you. So those are going to be my plays there. I don't really like the team totals here. They're too juiced. The Yankees, like it started at 4.5, and that was in itself was like -160. I don't like that at all. And the pitching matchup, I still think he's decent enough that I don't know if I feel comfortable to throw up like a team total of 6 at like +105. Like I feel like that should be like an auto like +130, +140 bet. So I'm gonna stay away from that in that regard. Just gonna get him on the run line. That's my only play in the game. And I'll mix the Yankees money line in a parlay or two. And then we've got Milwaukee, Washington. I'm done off the Brewers for a while. I said it yesterday. I meant it. That was it. They started off with had a good had an early run. It was 1-0. I went to the bathroom, got a beer, came back, and it was 4-1 Nats. And I was like, dude, what? Like, what happened? And it went all downhill from there. And so I'm off the Brewers, man. I've been riding with them for the last like week and a half, like consistently, and I just can't do it anymore. and it's a good spot to fade them. Espino is actually a pretty solid pitcher. His numbers check out. I think the Nats are starting to settle in, and I think that they're kind of like the Reds in the sense that they started out horribly, and I think that they're now kind of comfortably saying like, all right, we may suck, but we're gonna try to make every game a living hell for every team we play up against. And I think it's a good spot. It's one of the few pitchers in their rotation that I legitimately don't auto fade, and so I like him on the F5 run line. I got it at plus a half, and that was minus 125. And Jason Alexander is a young boy. He's got a really bad walk rate right now. He has a walking problem, and that's not good considering how well that like 1 through 4 on the Nats are performing right now. So I like the Nats here, and that's going to be my play. I don't know if I'm comfortable enough to take them on the full money line, but that plus a half to keep it close until the 5th inning, given the pitchers, and you can honestly make a case that the Nats have the better offense. They have one of the best players, and then their other guys that surround them are pretty solid too. They're much better than the Brewers, so I think that's a good play. As far as that, as far as this little combo right here from Spliff, I'm always weary of unders, under K props, or not weary of under K props, but I'm always for K props like that when you're talking about the Yankees, because although we're a good offensive team, we have a lot of guys that are boom or bust. They strike out or they will hit the ball a country mile. So I don't think I think that that's a good play. I don't think it's a good play because I think under 3.5 Ks, Stanton, Donaldson, Hicks, those are Joey Gallo's in the lineup today. Joey's good for like 2 himself alone. So and it doesn't matter who's pitching. It could be a soft throwing guy. It can be a hard thrower. That's a very dicey thing. That basically would expect for the Yankees to get him out of the game in the 2nd inning.
That's what I was just about to say. Is your basically your best hope is that they just hit him really
Yeah,
early.
they put up 8. They put up like 6 or 7 runs in the first 2 innings. That's the only way that doesn't or that cashes. But I would definitely probably stay away from that. And in fact, I would go the other way. And just if you can get a good value there, I would probably take over 3.5. And this last game, Pitt ATL, I like Wright. I don't know if I like him at minus 230. The Pirates are a sneaky competitive team. The Braves are playing like the Braves that I think we expected coming into the season now. So I'm going to take the Braves F5 run line. It's minus a half at minus 150. That's the only play I have in here. It's the only one that I feel comfortable. I am iffy about the Pirates have a sneaky knack for those late runs, late in games. So I don't know about that run line here. And then also, excuse me, I just want to get in and out on Quintana. Like I don't really want to let him kind of float around. I think this is the best value play here again. Like team totals are kind of inflated today with a lot of these teams, especially the favorites. I'm not really sure why, but I saw like the Braves team total over 4 at like minus like 155. Like I can't do that, man. Like that's just too much. Like that's like I can't do that. There's no real value there, and because every every lineup has a bad day. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with the F5 run line minus a half. Those are my only plays for this group of 4 right here, and we'll see what happens.
All right. I did want to mention something I forgot to mention earlier. Milwaukee has allowed 8+ runs in 4 straight games.
Yes.
So they have been allowing a ton of runs. So Washington team total, I think was 4.5. And I was looking at that, but didn't get to it just because I didn't want to go overboard today. And then I also wanted to bring up the stats here. So these are the best hitting team. Oh, oops. Sorry about that. 1 second. These are the best hitting teams for the month of June. So I wanted to bring these up here. These are the best hitting teams in the month of June. Toronto, obviously, number 1. Philadelphia, number 6. This is OPS. Yankees, number 3. Atlanta, number 4. Washington is number 8 right now. So if you're looking for a team total, I'm really considering here adding Washington team total over, but we'll definitely have to see. Moving on to the second set of games. Here, obviously, I have stuff to say about Toronto, Detroit. That was, as a Blue Jays fan, as somebody who bet on the Blue Jays, that was just a horrible game to watch. Um, they were so close to getting a few home runs. Like Jays could have ran away with that game, but unfortunately, just didn't quite hit it far enough. I think 3 or 4 times. So it was a heartbreaking loss. Today, it will be Stripling against Tarek Skubal. Skubal's pitched very well for Detroit this year. Stripling lately has also been really good. His last game against Kansas City, 5 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. In his game before that, obviously was out of the bullpen against the White Sox, 2.2 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, no walks. Game against before that, 1.2 innings against the Angels. But basically, in his last 7 games, he's 2-0 with a 1.93 ERA, pitching pretty well. I like Toronto to bounce back in this spot. I think it's a good spot for them to bounce back today. Alejandro Kirk is back in the lineup. As you can see, my parlays below. I expect him to hit the ball. He has just been smashing the ball. The number 1 hitter in the league in the month of June as well. One of the main reasons why the Blue Jays have been moving up. Just a few weeks ago, the Blue Jays were like 20th and against right-handed pitchers and like 18th or whatever against lefties, and now they're top 10 in both. So it's crazy what a couple weeks can do for a team's hitting. The Blue Jays are hitting well. Yes, it's Skubal, but I think the Blue Jays will win. And I got them at minus 125, which is a great price. And then I also have them in my parlays below. And I have Kirk and Espinal both to get hits. Just that, both players to get hits at plus 105. I really like that as well. Both players have been playing really well and are kind of underrated in the Blue Jays offense. Baltimore KC, I'm on the over 9.5 at minus 110. I think it's a good spot for some runs in this game. We have Kremer on the mound for Baltimore, Keller on the mound for Royals. Neither of these pitchers are very good. I can see them both getting lit up, and I think this could be a really quick over. So I took the over 9.5 at minus 110. Miami Houston. This is my big dog play of the day. I'm taking Miami plus 1.5, and I'm also taking Miami money line at plus 210. Yes, it's Verlander on the mound. I get it. But this Miami team, since they had their closed door meeting, they've spit 5 wins off in a row. Cabrera for the Miami has been outstanding in his 2 starts against Washington and Colorado. Went 6 innings in both games, won both games, gave up 1 earned run and 3 hits in the 12 innings he pitched. He's pitched really well. And this Miami team can hit righties. So I think at a huge plus price, there's definitely some value taking Miami here. And I think they get the upset win in this one. Tampa Bay, Minnesota, not too much opinion here. Kind of like yesterday, I don't want to back Minnesota because of the pitcher that's on the mound, but yesterday they won it anyways. But I'm not going to take them here. I like the other spots on the board. But as you do see my player hit parlay and scroller below, I do like Carlos Correa to get a hit. He has smashed lefties this year, and I think he's a good play to get a hit in this game. Bryant? second 4 games, second set of 4 games here. What do you think here?
Yeah. Toronto, Detroit, that was a tough one, man. But I couldn't, considering how bad yesterday was, by the time this game rolled around, I couldn't even be mad at the fact that the Jays didn't get it done. And honestly, I was like, oh well, that kind of makes sense considering everything else that's happening in the rest of baseball. So I was like, all right, I couldn't even, I didn't even have any like disdain in my heart for the fact that that went the way it did. So we're both, new day, new money. I like I like the I like both these pitchers here. Um School's actually pretty good. The only thing I'm worried about is how well the Blue Jays hit lefties. And that scares me because I think if this is like any other lineup, I mean, maybe with the exception of like 3 or 4 other teams, I would love that, Philip. Love that a lot. Honestly. If there was like any other team here, I would probably back the School on the F5. Um, he very clearly is going to be a pitcher that they can depend on over the next few years. Hopefully, the rest of that team takes the next step. Or he's definitely a guy that you can see getting picked off by a contender over the next few years as he continues to get better. But I can't go. I can't back him here with the way that the Jays hit lefties. They're kind of out of that funk that they were in like the month of May in terms of offensively. And Ross Stripling's pitching well enough that I think he keeps it. He holds down the already anemic Tigers offense. He holds it down well enough that 1 or 2 runs from the Jays via like a solo shot or something like that is really all you need to get that F5. And at the end of the day, when I look at F5s and you take pitchers that are basically equal ilks, and stuff like that, the difference has to be the lineup, and there's no comparison there, just none. The Jays have 3 guys that are you know all-stars, like you know what I'm saying, so like, or 3 guys that are all-star candidates and stuff like that, like in their lineup, and they're going to come at you. So I like the Jays here on the F5. You're getting really good value at it. On the F5 money line, you can get it at minus 115 as well. I think I'm trying to piece together like a little totals parlay today. And I like the Jays team total over 3.5. I got it at minus 140, which is but if I think that they get to Skoo for at least 2 or 3 runs in that first 5, 6 innings, if he, 3 runs is enough that he'll probably stay in the game. I just need one from that bullpen. We just need, we just need the Jays to get one off that bullpen, and that'll cash that. I like it. Like I said, I'm gonna probably parlay that with some other things, but my side play in this is definitely the Blue Jays F5 money line. And then so I have nothing in that Baltimore KC game. Staying away from it. Again, 2 bums fighting. I'm sorry. If I was gonna do something, I think this is like always, you have to look at like the overs when you got like 2 really bad teams. That's about it. But I'm not touching it at all. I have no plays, so don't ask me for any advice there. Miami, Houston. This was one of those plays yesterday that I was flabbergasted by. Braxton Garrett entered yesterday with an ERA over 9, and the Astros did not light him up in the slightest. In fact, Framber Valdez, who entered the game with a 2.80 ERA, got lit up. He looked bad from start to the time that he got pulled, and it was just that was a very bad beat. Like, just horrible, 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 horrible. They got Verlander on the bump today. I want to believe that Verlander rights the ship, but he's had some rocky performances of late as well. So that minus 240, it's going to go in a parlay. But I absolutely am not looking to spend a lot of money in this game, simply because of what happened. I don't know, that meeting that they had as a team in Miami, it fixed some things. They're out here. They're doing things. They're pitching well. All of a sudden, they're hitting the ball a lot. And the kid that they have going right now is probably going to be in that same tier with Pablo Lopez and Sandy Alcantara and like a year. Edward Cabrera is filthy. The young kid is very, very good. I would not like if I did not have a crappy day yesterday, I would probably say that I would put some money on that money line just because out of like a heat check. I'm not going to, but if they lose, if the Astros lose today, I would not be the slightest bit surprised. Based on what we've seen from the Marlins and what we know and what we've seen from Edward Cabrera on the mound, I mean, if you're gonna throw an upset, you're gonna have a hard throwing guy, and you're gonna have your team who's just playing free as a bird out there swinging or whatever. I don't think they're gonna be scared of Verlander. I think this game is gonna probably be a close game. I think if you want to, you could probably sprinkle some on the plus 1.5 on the Marlins for a little insurance. But I don't expect this game to be a blowout in the slightest. Like I very well see this game being like tight in the 7th inning or something of that nature. My lean would be to the Marlins. Find you something on the Marlins of value, whether it's the F5 run line or the full game money line. You go for it. But I think there's more value there than it is on a shaky Verlander of late and an Astros team that suddenly like can barely hit like bad pitchers. Like I don't understand that. That was really mind-boggling me yesterday. So, and we got Tampa Bay and Minnesota. It's really quite simple. I see Cole Sands on the mound. I fade him. Springs has been pretty solid for the Rays, and it looks like the Rays are seeing the ball pretty well. Had a bunch of hits. Obviously, Chi was responsible for a few of those, but then they got some off the Minnesota bullpen, and I think that mini bullpen it's got to be worn out at this point because they got used throughout the entire Yankee series. They got used yesterday as well. And Cole Sands is not an innings eater. He's not a guy that you're going to sit there and be like, yeah, go give me 7 innings. That's just not him. So ultimately, I like the value on the full game Rays money line here. I think they'll just wear them down. It's Sunday. Guys are tired. It's a day game. You know how that goes. Some pitchers just aren't ready for that. And ultimately, I like the Rays to get it done. And that play is at minus 120 or minus 135 is what I got it at. And that's what I'm going to rock with. Or it's minus 120. I'm sorry. Minus 120. The F5 was minus 135. But yeah, so it's the Rays there for me. I'm going to do a full game and hopefully have a little bit better luck with most of these teams than I did yesterday. This little slate was very problematic for me yesterday, and hopefully we can flip the script. So,
yep, fingers crossed. SK says you like Yankees and Braves parlay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the scroller. That's one of my bets today, and that's I'll also give it out right now. That's my best bet today. Is Yankees and Atlanta both on the money line on a parlay plus 110. That's my best bet for today, and we will move on to, and then yeah, Philip said also Yankees, Phillies, Jays. I love it. I love all three. We'll go on to the next three. As I said earlier, most of my picks are in the early games, and as we get on here to the late games, not a whole lot that I liked. Here with the White Sox, I do think the White Sox wins this game, but with the price that they're at, there's just no value for me to get in here on it. They're minus 145, but I don't really trust this White Sox team right now to take them here in this spot. Cincinnati, St. Louis. Like I said earlier in the show, St. Louis, with the state of the division they're in, this is their chance to kind of take over first place and get a good lead here. But the pitching advantage, Ashcraft has been really good for the Reds. Dakota Hudson, he's made me some money this year. In his last 3 starts, he has allowed 1 run against Tampa, 1 run against San Diego, no runs against Milwaukee. He's pitched very good his last 3 games, going 7 innings in both the last 2. So I do like St. Louis here. But right now, I haven't got to them yet. I'll probably have another parlay where I'll add them in. I'll probably get to some of these later games after the show. So St. Louis money line is where I'd go in that. But with the way Cincinnati, the Ashcraft has been pitching, um, not a huge confident play in that one. Dodgers, San Francisco. I don't want to touch this game. Dodgers have burnt me. I don't want to back Urias, but I don't want to back Rodon either. Um, Dodgers aren't very good against lefties, though they're much better against righties. So this spot is just a pass for me. Bryant, the next three games, anything you like in these three?
Yeah, quite simple here. I see Michael Kopech on the bump on the slate in the books. I back him. Kid is good, very, very, very good pitcher. And John Gray, conversely, he's had some mixed results. But I like the White Sox. I like where they look like they're kind of headed here. They're figuring some stuff out. Guys are getting a little bit healthier as well. Um, I'm eternally sad that yesterday, I think, or tomorrow would be where Dallas Keuchel would be in their rotation. Sad that we won't see him there tomorrow, but we're gonna make some money off the White Sox today. I like Kopech here. The kid just goes out there and shoves on the mound, and I think it's an easy play for me, especially with the way the White Sox are starting to see the ball as a collective. I like it. I like it a lot. And so, with that being said, um, I have got the White Sox in a couple of plays here. I have them on the money line at minus 147. That's what it is now. I got it at minus 140. So a little late movement as we get closer to game time, about an hour away from it. But you can get, and this is where I think the best bang for your buck really lies. You can get the White Sox F5 money line at minus 130. That's what I have it on my book. I think that's probably the same pretty much elsewhere. And I also like the F5 run line at minus 105 as well. Those are two plays that I really like. I'm still kind of bullish just because the White Sox have Liam Hendricks in the back of their bullpen, and he's good for a good just blown save, and he's thrown me off a couple of times. So I get weary of full games with him unless like I just know that the White Sox are going to blow a team out. So I think it could be a competitive game still ultimately. But I like the White Sox here, and I'm gonna back Kopech to get it done. In the Cincy St. Louis game, I'm gonna be honest. This is very much my top candidate, MLB wise, for dog of the day. Graham Ashcraft just goes out there and does things. He throws 100 miles an hour. He doesn't walk too many guys, all things considered. The only thing that worries me about him is he just doesn't strike guys out that often. He's got a Ks per nine of 4.94, which is even worse than Dakota Hudson's 5.08. They're both sitting at 14% K rate. But the big difference between the two here is the walks per nine. Hudson is good for 3 walks per nine, whereas Ashcraft is at a 1.9. And one is green, one is like, kind of dicey, and it could go up. And Hudson Sierra is at a 4.67, which is something to kind of raise your eyebrow at as well. Ultimately, I'm going to just keep it simple here. And I think Hudson's a solid little middle of the rotation guy, but he's not a lockdown. And with the way the Reds have been hitting, I know you and I talked about OPS in June. Reds are like top 15 in the entire MLB. I like Hudson to give up 3 runs here, and I say that because they're number 9. I take that back. So the Reds are number 9 in OPS in June, so they're hitting, and they're hitting pretty consistently right now, which is been their thing over the last couple of years. With that being said, I like this play right here. I can get the Reds team total over 3.5 at even money. I like that. For the full game, I need 4 runs. Can I get 4 runs? I believe we can get 4 runs. I think Hudson's is good for 2 or 3 himself. Really 4 possibly. And I think that ultimately that's a good play here. I would also take a strong hard look at the Reds money line at +110 for the F5. I like it. I like Ashcraft here. I think the biggest thing is how he goes through that second time through the order after Goldschmidt, Arenado have seen him, and how they adjust and stuff like that. If he can make it through 2 trips through the order and minimal damage, based on what we just talked about in terms of the Reds offense, I like the Reds to have gotten to Hudson enough to cash that. So I'm gonna put myself down for that team total over 3.5 at even money, and I am going to put some units on the Reds F5 money line at +110. There you go, Jay Shank. You see what I'm talking about here. Great minds think alike. I like the matchup here. I think that Ashcraft is going to be a better pitcher ultimately in his career. He just doesn't have probably the consistency in terms of offensive production that maybe Hudson has. Hudson's also pitching at home, and I think that if this was not in St. Louis, that line would not be -155 for Dakota Hudson. Like, he hasn't done anything to deserve a -155 line, and I think that's getting it because it's the Cardinals and they're at home, and that plays well. But I don't think.
Also, not to interrupt, but Cardinals are much better against lefties.
Yes, exactly.
Ashcraft is a righty, so
And
that's
Ashcraft he's a hard throwing righty, and he's gonna throw. He can throw 100 miles an hour. Like that's not fun, especially if you've never seen a guy throwing that hard. That's hard to adjust to, especially as a starting pitcher or when it is a starting pitcher. So, i.e., take Hunter Green for example. Hunter Green just went out there and was masterclass yesterday
I'm
against.
not touching. I already said in our group chat, I'm not touching any more Hunter Green starts. So
Yeah, I mean, like that is so hard, and it's a day game. It's hard to just get up for a guy just chucking 100 miles per hour at you, 98, 97, 40 pitches, and that's just not something that is easy to game plan for. So I like the Reds here, and that's where I'm going to go with it. And then in this last game, I am putting the Dodgers on the same ultimatum that I gave the Brewers yesterday. This is it for me. I'm gonna go with the Dodgers. I like some of Urias' splits on the road and against the Giants. I think he's like 4-2 in his career against the Giants with an ERA sub of like 3. I think it was like 2.7 something. Last time I checked. I'm gonna go with the Dodgers here. They've lost the last 2 games. I just can't see them letting themselves get swept by the Giants. It's Yesterday wasn't even like that bad of a performance, like it was a relatively, it wasn't they didn't get like blown out, but ultimately they didn't get it done. And I think today's my last day on them. If they get me a win, we'll revisit it next week. But if not, I've got to find other ways to bet them, whether it's a team total or just fade them completely after this if they can't get the Rodon, because Rodon is in a tailspin himself. So you got 2 bad, or not bad pitchers. We got 2 good pitchers who I think have lost confidence in themselves. And I honestly, after looking at this last night and knowing who was going to be starting today, I really thought heavily about looking at the over 8. It's even money. Rodon has given up some runs in his last starts. If I'm not mistaken, hold on one second. I had it right here. His last couple of starts, but I just had it. But his last couple of starts, he's given up 2, 2, 3, and not 2. No, he went his last 7 games. Here it is. His last 7 games, as a starter. He's 1-4 with an ERA over 5. And he's in 36 innings. He's given up 41 hits, 20 earned runs. He's walked 14 people, and his whip is 1.53. Um, it's just not been bad, like horrible, but it's also not been good enough to get things done. And I like the Dodgers to get to him. I think it might be even a better play if you lean and you take a look at that over 4, first 5. His starts have been going, 5 and 6 innings. He's given up 2 himself. Urias has been also doing literally they're basically mirror images of themselves over the last 3 or 4 starts. Not horrible, but not good enough to help their team get wins. And giving up 2-3 runs over the course of 5 or 6 innings. If they both do that, then that over 4 cashes easily. So I tend to lean, like I said, I'm going to take the Dodgers side here. That is not a question. I'm going to take them on the money line, and that is at -135. I think that's really good value considering the Dodgers earlier this year. You were getting Urias at like -2 something. I'm going to take the Dodgers here, but I'm also going to take a look at the over 4. And I'm going to take a look at the over 8. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take the over 4. That is not a look. That's not a
So
lean. That is.
no to Jay Shank's question. Dodgers under.
I'm sorry. What happened?
The
Dodgers
Dodgers
under?
under.
Yeah. No. 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 I like the Dodgers to get some runs. I thought that comeback against the White Sox were going to unlock the Dodgers and they were going to go on a streak, but it hasn't manifested, and I'm still waiting on it. I think it's still coming, but right now, today's my last day on them. If they can't deliver for me today, it's they're on punishment and probation, just like the Brewers are. So, show me something, LA. Show me something.
Hey, with their lineup, they definitely should be. We'll jump into the last 3 games here, and I actually have a play now in this first game in Boston, Seattle. Now that the pitching is announced here for Boston, it's going to be Crawford, Cutter Crawford, who doesn't really go a whole lot of innings here, but is good for a run or two. Looking at his games that he's played in. On the other side, Robbie Ray for Seattle. I've made money betting against him this year. I think the play in this one is the over 8.5 at -110. That's the price I see at my one book. I am going to be on the over 8.5 tonight in this one, and I may also look for Boston team total. Boston has been smashing the ball, and I think we can definitely get some runs from Seattle as well. So I like the over 8.5. I'm surprised it's not 9.5. But Robbie Ray is good for a few runs, and I'm sure Cutter Crawford / whoever else will come in for Boston will be good for a few runs. So I like the over 8.5 in that one. Coming into this second game, another game that I would go with the over. I haven't got to it yet, just because I could see a sneaky 4-1 game and ruining the over, but then I could also see a high scoring game. Colorado can hit lefties. Blake Snell, not very good. Padres not very good against righties, but it's Marquez, so they should be able to get some runs off him as well in this one. But nothing for me officially. And then Mets and Angels, last game of the night. Like Brian said earlier, yesterday was a total disaster, and for me, betting wise as well, it was not a good night. And the Mets were one of the teams that let me down, but there was a whole bunch of teams that let me down yesterday. So I won't throw too much shade at the Mets. But this one, 7:08, a 7 o'clock game. Walker and Sandoval, I don't have a good feel for it. My lean would be with the Angels, but I'm not ready to back them, even if they're starting to win games here and there. I'm not ready to back them yet. So that one's a pass. So over 8.5 with Boston, Seattle, lean over in Colorado, San Diego, and a pass in the Mets, Angels. Bryant, final 3 games of the night. What do you think here?
Yeah. I'm gonna say this because it's already, I guess, since I'll start with the pick, and we'll go over it and we can add it to the spreadsheet. But Colorado and San Diego first foremost. That's my best bet. It's part of my best bet. We get Blake Snell. He's a lefty. He's still coming off of injury, trying to get his footing under him. He's not had a good go of it since he's really came back. I'm gonna read off some of his stats. Like I said, I had it, and then I put it on the back burner for a second. But this is what he's looking like this year since he came back. In his most recent start against the Mets, he went 4 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs. Against the Cardinals, he went 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. He had 3 walks, and he had 6 strikeouts. So not bad. But prior to that, he had the Brewers. He gave up another 3 runs, and he had the Phillies, gave up 3 runs. He's not given up less than 2 runs or less than 3 runs, but one time this season, and that was May 31st against the Cardinals. And if you look at that, the most important thing I want to take away from that is the fact that he walks 3, 3, 2, and 3. So he's good for 2 or 3 walks a start. Couple that with the fact that he's also good for 2, basically an average of 3 runs a start. My best bet and my big play in this game is the Colorado Rockies team total over 3.5. The Rockies love to hit lefties. Snell, like I said, he's made 5 starts this entire season. It's 0-3 in all those starts. He's got a 5.38 ERA and a 3.92 FIP, which means he's giving up home runs and he's walking guys. Those things mixed against a team that are able to, hit left-handed pitching. They're second in average against lefties, and they're third in OPS against lefties. Come on, man. We're getting plus 140 or plus 115 there with a hitting team like the Rockies. That's an easy play for me. And I'm going to take it even a step further as I'm looking at the game. I'm going to probably add the fact that on top of that over 3.5, I think I'm going to take it up to 4. Over 4 at plus 140. These teams also played a doubleheader yesterday. Bullpen's arms are taxed. In the case of last night, again, we thought the Padres were absolutely going to win that game behind Mackenzie Gore. That did not happen. Again, yesterday was a crapshoot, just bad stuff. But I don't have any desire to back Herman Marquez, and I'm definitely not backing Blake Snell here. I think with the fact, again, these two teams have played basically – they would play 3 games in a span of like 48 hours. Those bullpen arms are taxed. Give me these runs. I need 4. Give me 4, or I'll take 5. I need 5 Colorado Rockies runs, and we're gonna go to the pay window very, very, very happy. So those are my official plays in that game. I like Boston and Seattle simply for the fact that we get a kind of pitcher with in Cutter Crawford for the Red Sox. I think originally they thought it was going to be Tanner Houck, but ultimately I think you nailed it. This is kind of a great little over spot right here. Robbie Ray has not been AL Cy Young Robbie Ray at all, and with the way that the Red Sox are seeing the pitches, they've walked a crap ton in this series so far. I think on Friday night alone, they had like 7 walks as a team. When you walk guys like that, it almost always leads to runs. You can't issue that many free passes and get away with it. It's going to come back to bite you. It might not bite you in that game. It might not bite you in the game, later on. But continuous command issues always end up resulting in runs more often than not. So that's been a theme this entire series. I like runs on both sides here. So, in looking at that game, I think that you almost by default have to kind of take a good hard look at the over. It's 8.5. A guy with an ERA of 5 is gonna probably contribute to that more, more often than not. You can even look at the over 4.5 at -125, or at least that's what I'm seeing it at. But I like the Mariners to win this game. I want to start by saying that that's going to be my side. I'm going to take them full game at -145. But I probably am going to parlay it with the over. I'm gonna take the Mariners -145, and I'm gonna take the over 8. Get it now, because I feel like this is gonna bump up to +9 or to 9 once the general public realizes that Cutter Crawford, someone who they probably don't know, um, they're gonna auto back the Mariners here, because Robbie Ray is a little bit more of a household name, and the Mariners are at home, coming off of a walk-off win last night. I like that spot. And then in this last game, again, another pick from yesterday. Carlos Carrasco got lit up. The Angels looked like they were having fun out there. Jared Walsh was hitting for the cycle. Just all types of just foolishness was taking place in Anaheim. I like the Angels here. I only like the Angels here simply because I am waiting for Taijuan Walker to have a meltdown. I think it's coming. I am kind of sitting there waiting for it. He doesn't strike out guys at all. And the only good thing he's got going for him is the fact that he does not walk dudes, where Patrick Sandoval has a walks per 9 of 5. And so, in saying that, while I do like the Angels, I am going to take a good hard look at the over in this game as well, at least on the F5. That Mets bullpen is, for the most part, a very solid unit. It's probably one of the probably top 10 bullpens in the MLB. And I think that if we can see some of both these pitchers get lit up, I think the scoring may stop. In part due to the fact that the Mets bullpen is going to come in there and put a little stop to the bleeding. So I would definitely look at the over in the F5. It's set at 5 right now. But again, as I just previously mentioned, guys who walk batters like that, it makes it a lot more likely that you can have those big, massive blow-up innings. 2 guys on, dude hits a 3-run home run, and you're already halfway there at that point. So I'm gonna take the Angels on the F5. That's gonna be my side play for this. It's -125. I like it, but I also am either going to look at the F5 total over 5, or going to take a look at the Angels team total. It's at over 4.5. I'm iffy about it, but it's at -120, and I think that's a lot more respectable than maybe what it was when I previously mentioned like the Yankees being at like -155. Like that's a good value there for it. But ultimately, I think I trust Otani, Trout, Rendon, Walsh a little bit better right now than I do the Mets lineup, which is still a little bit banged up. Got some guys out. I think that's kind of where the line is drawn in the sand. Is if this does become a slugfest, which team has the better hitters? And when you're looking at the over, you got to go look at the Angels here. So those are my plays for this little grouping right here.
All right. And that is the slate. We'll move on to best bets. Let me bring everything up here. And we'll start with dog of the day, as we always do. For me, pretty easy decision. I'm taking the +210 dog that I bet today. Miami Marlins. I do not think they should be priced at +210. I have a full unit on them to win. I really like Miami tonight. And Nick is taking Detroit Tigers. He likes Scooble. I saw his free pick video on Earl Sports Bets. and he likes Skubal, so he likes the first 5, and he thinks Detroit can pull off the upset. Bryant, any dog today that you like?
Yeah, I talked about it. Jay Shank was in on it with me. Let's go with the Reds. We're going with the Reds. That's gonna be my play here.
All right. Over or under? Um, uh, did I go with the Boston over? Did I go with the Baltimore KC over? I do like the Colorado San Diego over as well. So it's kind of a tough decision here, but I have it typed in. I'll stick with it. KC Baltimore, 2 bums and 2 bum pitchers. I think I can get to 10 runs. Nick is taking the other one that I like, Colorado San Diego over 8. Bryant, are you going to take Boston Seattle, or are you going to take one of these two, or what do you think?
And now I'm gonna take that Boston and Seattle over.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's over 8. That was After I saw that, I was like, I got to.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we will go to the comment here. I love that. LML, love that, Brian. Let's ride, but it's Bryant. Is it? How is it pronounced? Is it pronounced?
Yeah, it's literally Brian with the T, so it's Bryant.
Okay, it is pronounced Bryant.
Yeah, just like Kobe.
Hey, some people, the silent letters. Hey,
yeah, no, for sure.
Best bets, best parlay pieces. For me, I already said it earlier. Atlanta on the money line, Yankees on the money line, plus 110. That's my favorite bet of the night. Best parlay piece. I'll go with Blue Jays plus 1.5. Also, Alejandro Kirk to get a hit. I think that's a great parlay piece as well. Nick is going Pittsburgh Pirates first 5 plus 170 as his best bet. A little bit surprising. And best parlay piece, Tampa Bay Rays first 5 money line. Bryant, you're taking Colorado team total over 3.5 and Chicago White Sox money line as your best bet.
And that is at plus 211.
Plus 211. All right, and parlay piece.
My parlay piece for the day, I'm gonna go ahead and get it in since the game starts, and like right now, I'm going to go back to the well. My guys, they have delivered. You know it, yes, sir. I'm just gonna ride it out with the Yankees and the money line. I think that's just an easy little parlay piece. Honestly, and this is just a word of advice for people who are betting the Yankees. With the way that their offense just explodes for runs, you might be able to get value in some of these spots like this where they're minus 200 and stuff by waiting until after like the first, second, or third inning. And if the game's tied, that line will drop down to like minus like 180 or something like that. Or if the Cubs get an early run, it'll drop down to like minus 180, and then you can parlay that with something else. Just a heads up for people as you go and bet, and if you're not entirely sold on betting on a minus 220 favorite, stuff like the Yankees, what they did to the Twins will happen. They'll just walk teams down. I think the Jays are like that too sometimes. Where you can lie. They're very good live betting candidates because their offense will just go off for 5 runs and evaporate lead. So
exactly. And that is the show. Best luck to everybody tonight. If you are watching on Twitter, come join us on YouTube. We'd love to have you in the live chat. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate all the support. And if you like the content, smash the like button. And we will see you again tomorrow. As always, Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Weekends, time varies. And we'll see you again tomorrow for another episode of Getting Wild Libertarian Friends. Best of luck tonight, guys.